ready to question everything? Tune in. Yo. It's midnight in Missouri. Turn the lights low. Let the truth glow. Robert and Crew. We vibing with you.
Stars align. Podcast on, we crossing every line. Tartaria towers, hidden in the mist. Hollywood shadows, what they hid on the list. UFOs dancing over Independence Town. JFK whispers, we flip the whole thing round. Crew in the chat, Julie dropping facts. Multiverse theory, we never going back. Synchronizing, truth seekers unite, no compromises. Screens glow purple, feel the energy surge. Robert hit the switch, now we on the verge. Robert and Crew, light up the night. Conspiracy crew, we taking flight. Tartaria dreams in the strobe light flash. Drop the bass, heavy, hear the thunder crash. Robert and Crew, vibe so high. Paranormal flow to the morning sky. From mystery streets to the cosmic unknown. Tune in every week. You ain't alone. Robert and Crew. Serial shadows, cryptids in the woods. Project Blue Beam in the neighborhood. Over buildings with the impossible craft. We question everything, never looking back. Check going crazy, theories overload. Rabbit hole deep, but we paved the road. One more story about the lights in the sky. Robert and Crew keep the real road alive. Energy building, the frequency climbing. Minds wide open, no more hiding. Feel the rumble, let the speakers ignite. We on the darkness, we on the light. Robert and Crew, light up the night. Conspiracy crew, we taking flight. Tartaria dreams in the strobe light flash. Drop the bass, heavy, hear the thunder crash.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm your co-host, Crew.
And tonight we will be going and talking about these alien files. We're probably going to be talking about these for quite a while, especially if they keep dropping more and more on us.
Oh, yeah.
What's the most interesting thing you've read in these files so far, Crew?
There's too much to say. I mean, besides, all the shit that I've already known. I mean, the first one you sent me was pretty interesting.
Which was?
The 4-foot crewman.
Yeah. The 4-foot crewman that came out of a ship that the FBI have released.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do we think about these aliens?
I mean, besides that, there's a lot of them out there. A lot of them who are hiding amongst us, hence the reptilians, for example. And a lot of them observing us. It's a complex discussion.
For sure. So, as everybody knows, the famous thing is that Princess Diana allegedly said that the Queen was a reptilian that enjoyed to indulge herself with eating babies. So that's obviously alleged. That's obviously something crazy that Princess Diana said. But it was still said. So the reptilian theory has been pushed around a lot by people like David Icke. David
Mhm.
Icke famously made the reptilian theory go crazy. And then we had certain videos and certain pictures of people supposedly shape shifting or weird voices coming out of them and things like that, or eye twitches. And the reptilian one is real creepy, man, because it's definitely, if the aliens are here already, we may have already known all along that one group of aliens is the reptilians.
Yeah.
Another group of aliens would be the Greys.
Hmm. Well, the Greys. Okay. There's that one famous interview which I sent the video of the Grey explaining that they're actually future versions of us, and only a select few us survived. And he said, and they asked, well, what was the cause? And he said, nuclear war. The Gray alien did.
Right. Well, I pulled that up real quick so we can play that for everybody first. Let's go.
Okay, we're recording. State of origin? Oh. Okay, yesterday you told us you traveled, and I quote, thousands of light years to get here. Tell us the truth, word for word, or another way. So I take it aliens took over our future, right? So you're human. Okay, so you evolved from us. So what are you doing here now? How? Okay, so how about we concentrate on your time? Time. Wait, so you know the meaning of life? What's the difference? So you know how the universe is created. So you think God. Okay, illuminate us. What happens when we die? Okay, so let me get this straight. There's no death, and we all experience each other's lives, right? Okay, so how was the universe created, and why is it so perfectly made for us? we destroy ourselves with nuclear war? Can you be more specific, please? Okay, one last thing. What about morality? What are you basing your morality on? I see. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
So I always thought that, maybe that video was not real. But now that we're getting all these files, maybe that video is real. We don't really know. And when they started out, it does say Project Blue Book on it.
Yeah.
And Project Blue Book was a famous alien program.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that it couldn't have been legitimately put there, or not legitimately, illegitimately put there. But still, it's very interesting. I'd like to know the truth behind that video, because everything the alien says is kind of what I believe,
Right.
which isn't necessarily that there's not God, but
Well, you don't believe in nuclear.
well, nuclear war, it doesn't have to be a nuke to kill everybody. A very, very big, 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 big bomb. I mean, you got to call that nuclear. I mean, that's fine if you want to call a really big explosive nuclear, but nuclear radiation kills everything.
Yeah.
And we have yet to see anything that we've actually supposedly nuked actually kill everything.
Right.
So I don't know if I necessarily believe that there's nuclear radiation everywhere destroying and hurting everyone. Now, there it has definitely been what we call nuclear power plants that have exploded, that have left radiation behind. But I
Like
don't know.
Chernobyl.
Yeah, like Chernobyl, or what's the other one? There's a couple different ones that have exploded.
Well, this one's not technically because of like Chernobyl, but Hiroshima.
Hiroshima was where we dropped the nuclear weapon, supposedly.
Well, I mean, after the impact of those bombs, right?
Why are there people living in Hiroshima now?
Well, I mean, there's certain parts that's not as bad with radiation levels, right? So, like, the further you go in, the worse it gets with the levels. So,
Right.
like, dark tourism, right?
Yeah.
Going through your Hiroshima is a dark tourist attraction.
Right. Same thing with Chernobyl.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, they tell you to get like a radiation
Suits and Geiger counter.
suits, and then the radiation level device that tells you
It's called a
the,
Geiger counter.
yeah. So that way, it'll tell you how what part is not as bad, what part is. And there's certain spots that they tell you if you want to go in, you can only be in there for a certain amount of time.
Right. I don't know. It could be nuclear warfare, it could be whatever you want to call it, I guess.
Well, in Chernobyl, that's basically how it goes because basically when Sam and Colby went, right? And then they had that buddy. That buddy went in there in that one building, right, for a certain amount of time. And he said he couldn't be in there too much longer. Otherwise, he would have got affected even worse. Even with the gear he had on.
Yeah, but there are people that go to Chernobyl every day that don't wear gear.
I know, and they're stupid for it.
So, I mean, I can't tell you that nuclear warfare exists. I can't tell you that. I mean, every video you see of nuclear tests have fake houses that explode.
Right.
And had the camera survive.
Exactly.
I'm like, come on now. You expect me to believe those? That's the saddest excuse for nuclear tests I've ever seen in my entire life. They're literally cardboard cutout houses that explode.
Yeah.
And then the camera somehow survives. I don't believe the tests. Maybe we do have a nuclear bomb. But I don't believe those tests. Not for 1 second.
Right.
So you sent this. It's called the best UFO footage ever. Let's see what this is.
Video taken by a DHS helicopter of a very interesting object. At first, it appears to be perhaps a balloon, but then it does all sorts of weird stuff. It's called the Aguadilla incident. Keep watching that, and I'll tell you a little story about this. They're looking at this through a form of night vision, but if you keep watching this, something interesting happens. You're going to see this thing enter the water here. There he goes, underwater.
So it's going high speed through the water.
Underwater. That's underwater. Then it breaks the surface of the water again, and then you'll see it split into two. There's a video taken by a DHS helicopter of a very...
Huh. I feel like I've talked about aliens going in the water quite a bit recently. Interesting.
Well, I mean, okay. Aliens have many forms of travel, right? The ocean, the skies,
The airwaves, yeah. The ocean, the air.
the portals throughout the world, and also the Admiral Byrd theory.
The opening in the earth
Yes.
where supposedly the Palladians are.
Yes.
That's an interesting one.
Because, okay, over there in Antarctica, there's certain, like, that's highly protected, right?
Right.
So, Antarctic Treaty got all these countries uniting, supposedly protecting Antarctica. Now, my theory states that, and this is just a theory, I'm not going to say it's true, right?
Right.
That there's certain spots in Antarctica that there's gates, right, in the ice that you can travel through to enter and exit, and only certain ones know about it, and it's highly protected.
So you're going with a theory that would basically state that exoterra, extraterrane, extraterrestrial beings from the outer space, literally beings from the space outside of the biome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that could be taken two ways. Like you have beings from outer space, like outside of the planet, and then you have beings from outer space outside of the dome.
Well, and here's the thing, though. Okay, it goes both ways, right? And a lot of people want to argue this theory. Now, with there being the dome, right? And
Yeah.
then they're with outer space, hence the,
The land outside the dome.
land outside the dome. Or you got the other big theory that is the firmament, which a lot of people want to argue the firmament because they say it's not an actual like dome, it's just a figure of speech.
Right.
But here's the thing, nobody can prove what's true about anything, because only a select few get a chance to go to Antarctica and see the truth.
And only a select few get to go to outer space.
Right.
So, like,
Allegedly.
if you believe in space travel, there's only been what?
A select few.
Let's say maybe. Let's see. How many people have been to outer space? Let's see. I know we can figure this out. How many people have been to outer space?
Around 790 people have been to outer space, depending on whether you use the international 62-mile boundary or the US 50-mile one. The most commonly cited figure right now is about 790.
So 790. 790 people. That's still on a planet of how many people? 8 billion, we're told.
Right.
Only 790 people have ever been to outer space. That's a pretty close-knit circle.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you believe that only 789 people have been to outer space, or do you believe that nobody's ever been to outer space?
I mean, here's the thing, okay? If we've been to outer space, which I don't believe we have, and if we have, there's only a way to get to it, and it's very highly protected. And you would have to have like specific clearance to get to.
Do you know the wacky story about the Mars missions that the Vatican funded?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that there was a presidential daughter that claimed that she went to Mars? Have you heard that story?
Uh-uh.
Let me see if I can bring it up. Obviously, Grok's going to say it's a crock of crap, but let's see if it'll pull it up. Wasn't there a supposed story, whether or not it's true or false, that a president's daughter went on a Mars mission? Grok doesn't want to talk about it. Isn't it true, or regardless if it's false, that a president's daughter claimed to have gone? Yeah, Grok doesn't want to work right now. Let me pull this up. Isn't it true that a president's daughter claimed to go to Mars?
Type it in.
There seems to be a stern, wild conspiracy theory promoted by Andrew D. Basagio, a lawyer and self-described chrononaut. He claims as a child in the late 1960s to 1970s that he participated in a secret DARPA CIA program called Project Pegasus, involving time travel and teleportation, supposedly based on Nikola Tesla's work. In the 1980s, he and a young Barack Obama, then known as Barry Soetoro, were allegedly part of a group that was teleported to Mars for training exploration. Bastiago and others like William Stillings have made these assertions in interviews, claiming that Obama was groomed via this program. The White House has jokingly denied it. Obama has not been to Mars. These stories are not supported by evidence and are widely regarded by pseudoscience or hoaxes. Mainstream sources treat them as entertaining but baseless conspiracy lore. No credible documentation, witnesses, or physical proof exists. Alyssa Carson, NASA Blueberry, a space enthusiast who has dreamed of going to Mars since age 3 and has done extensive training in camps. She is not related to any president, and she's never claimed to have been to Mars, but she hopes to go in the future. And there was a fictional reference in multiple movies, but no president's daughter has actually made this claim. So basically what it's saying is that the president's daughter thing, I must have gotten that wrong. But apparently Barack Obama and this other guy were in a program called Project Pegasus that they claimed to have teleported them to Mars. And obviously, the White House joked about it and says it's all completely BS and not true. So, yeah, oh well, I figured it out. It was Barack Obama. It wasn't some president's daughter. It was literally a president.
Well, I mean, that goes.
And he didn't claim it. There's just a conspiracy theory around it.
Well, there was a joke back, and this is completely off topic, where Obama joked about running presidential for Biden.
Well,
But that's neither here nor there, though.
I still believe this is for entertainment purposes only, but I believe that Barack Obama was in the White House basement controlling Biden, but that's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Barack Obama never left the presidency. When Biden came into office, Barack Obama was still there pulling the strings like Biden was his little puppet.
Right.
That's why Barack Obama still lived in Washington, D.C. when Biden was president. Did you know that no other president has ever willingly stayed in Washington, D.C. after their presidency besides Barack Obama?
Right.
That's a little weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But anyways, getting back to these aliens, let's check out this next video.
Of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb or this object off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. This is when it zoomed out. So you can still see it traveling. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an...
I remember that. I remember when that drone shot a Hellfire missile, hit the UFO broke apart into two pieces, and then basically reassembles itself.
Mm-hmm.
Which that one's crazy. What's your thoughts on that video?
Interesting.
I mean that one, super intelligent technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
For it to be able to reconnect itself, and the pieces that couldn't reconnect itself fell off into the ocean or whatever, but the main two pieces that exploded, it was like that missile did nothing to it.
Right.
Crazy stuff. So this is the star one, supposedly. This one is the one that's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think, it kind of reminds me of biblical angels.
Right. Julie asked us a question.
What'd Julie say?
How long have we been live?
We've been live for 30 minutes now, Julie.
She was like, I didn't even get a notification.
Well, I guess I don't know why you didn't get a notification. We went live on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch, as we always do.
Yeah.
Maybe you got to click that notification bell, Julie. Subscribe to the channel, Julie. I don't know why you ain't subscribed. I'm just messing with you. I know you subscribed. But the star one, The star UFO reminds me of biblical angels.
Right.
Do you know how the angels were described in the Bible, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I sent you the article on it.
Sent me the article on it.
Yeah.
A newly declassified clip from the Pentagon's UFO archive features a mysterious eight-pointed star captured by military sensors in 2013. The infrared footage shows a glowing craft with arms of alternating lengths drifting through the sky. To some, the craft's unique geometry mirrors the biblical descriptions of an ophanim, celestial interlocking wheels within wheels, described by the prophet Ezekiel. The ancient connection gained even more traction after Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna posted an illustration of a biblically accurate angel shortly after the video went viral. The footage is just one of 162 files recently added to the Department of Defense's expanding public database. I love how they called it the Department of Defense when it's now the Department of War. It is no longer the Department of Defense. While the Pentagon officially characterizes the object as an area of contrast and cautions against jumping to the extraterrestrial conclusion, the lack of definitive explanation continues to fuel speculation. Skeptics point to a potential sensor blooming or infrared glare, but the object's distinct structure remains difficult to dismiss. What do you think? UFO, drone, or manifestation of an angelic realm? Who knows?
Exactly. Who knows? Either way, that's pretty cool, though.
That is pretty cool. Let's see. There's another article you sent me over here. Skylab crew. Now I don't want to subscribe to any News Nation. Skylab crews reported unexplained lights, reddish object, UFO files. Astronauts who spent time in Skylab, the early space station that famously fell to Earth in 1979, reportedly seeing unexplained flashes of light and other sights outside their vessel. According to the records within the Trump administration's first batch of UFO-related files, their comments are contained in the transcripts of NASA interviews. The astronauts did after returning to Earth in 1973 and 1974. The documents released Friday are considered new to the public. We saw light flashes. They tended to wax and wane with frequency, Dr. Joseph Kerwin said in a June 1973 debriefing after his mission. Fellow crew member Charles Conrad described the phenomenon as spot sunbursts and streaks, while pilot Paul Welts reported seeing cosmic particles with an entrance streak and exit streak. This is July 1973. This is Skylab Saturn S4B. SIVB stage falls away from the command module CM after separation, called the Earth limb. Welcome, Skylab. I love how they have a target here.
Right.
As we approached sunset, it turned more reddish, presumably because of sunlight change. NASA astronaut Owen Garrott told the agency in October of 1973 what satellite it was and how it happened to end up with such similar orbit. No one ever explained this to us. There is no smoking gun moments in the transcript with astronauts even offering their own explanations for the sights that they described. Gerald Carr in February 1974 said the flashing lights his crew observed could have been pieces of Skylab or satellites, but we did find it very interesting to see other objects up there with us. The more than 160 documents released by the Pentagon on Friday spanned decades and included material from other historic NASA missions, as well as more recent military videos, murky and grainy in quality, that appear to show airborne objects defying conventional abilities. UAP researchers and other observers offered a range of mixed reactions in the initial tranche of so-called UFO files. Oh, it's going to do this again. Of course, it's not going to. So stupid.
Packed camera that fits.
I don't care about the camera. 720p.
Quality check, Ross Coulthart. Ross, it's so great to have you here on this day after this historic day. You've obviously been on the front lines for years pushing for transparency. We're all just curious about your opinion. Did you see anything in these files that was new to you or surprised you or stuck out to you?
Actually, to be honest with you, a lot of it was old. A lot of the FBI files have been around for years. I think the Defense Department was playing games, frankly, because a lot of those files were already publicly available. What is new is, frankly, what it indicates. It indicates that the White House, President Trump, laudably has decided to take this issue seriously. People are very keen to know what the US government knows, what it's hiding on UAPs. And I'm told the best is yet to come. There are videos coming up in coming weeks which will be released. I did an interview with Lou Elizondo, the former head of the Pentagon program, yesterday, who investigated UFOs, and he told me that he's seen videos which involve 4K imagery, high definition imagery of a craft moving underwater at speeds that defy prosaic explanation. It's certainly not human.
Yeah, there's so many questions that still come, even just watching videos. Maybe they are old, but a lot of the U.S. public hasn't seen them yet. After years of denial, though, we know that the government at least is promising to become more transparent. Several people testifying last year to Congress, the President of the United States saying that he's going to prioritize it. But I'm wondering whether or not you still share any sort of concern that there is still some gatekeeping that's going to happen, whether it's military authorities, aerospace companies, members of the intelligence community that may still tried to hold back even from the President of the United States.
Yes, there is. David Grush, the very senior whistleblower, former US Air Force intelligence officer who appeared exclusively on News Nation in 2023 with me, where he revealed the existence of this crash retrieval and reverse engineering program involving alien technology. He's gone public basically saying that he does think the CIA and the Defense Intelligence Agency are blocking further disclosure. I know that for a fact. There are whistleblowers inside the program who are feeling intimidated, threatened about coming forward. And there are, as you know, ongoing investigations into claims that people have been threatened or indeed killed to protect this secret. It's a very grave thing. And I think there's a pushback from gatekeepers who are trying to stop this evidence from coming out. I know it's a difficult transition for the American public, but the moment they become aware just how real this story is and realize they've been lied to for the last 60, 70 years, I think there's going to be a huge shock. And I think the government is doing the right thing. President Trump has acted laudably by doing this. It's a really impressive decision on his part. And I think the public deserves the truth. And I do know from my sources they want the information out.
So, Ross, do you think that this is going to open the door and pave the way for more whistleblowers to feel comfortable? They're seeing their government actually standing behind their word that they're going to have more transparency, and now whistleblowers won't have to be whistleblowers anymore. They could just be truth tellers.
Well, I wish the government and indeed sections of the Democrats as well blocked legislation, the UAP disclosure laws, that would have made it easier for whistleblowers to feel comfortable about coming forward. That was going to be included in the Defense Appropriations Bill late last year. Unfortunately, certain key politicians blocked it at the behest of the defense aerospace industry. And one has to wonder, why? Why don't major corporations that are allegedly holding this technology not want you, the American public, to know about it? I think it's a really good development that the president's doing this. It's to be applauded. And I think the only thing the public should be doing is keeping the pressure on to make sure the government follows through with its promise.
Yeah, we only got about 30 seconds left, but is it fair for the public to just be asking why now? I know that's a question that I got on my X account when I promoted the fact that I'd be speaking to you. Should we be skeptical about why this is happening at this time?
Well, some people say it's a diversion from the Epstein files in the Iran war, but I'm assured by people in the administration who've reached out to me that this is a very genuine effort. And if you think about it, the president wants to expose what he calls the deep state. And this is a best example of that.
News Nation special correspondent, host of Reality Check, Ross Coulthart. It's an honor to speak to you on this day. Thank you very much for your time.
So, I want to see that footage of the craft that's underwater that is in 4K. Let me see that footage.
Right.
What are your thoughts on them purposefully blocking this information from the American people, and why would they feel the need to do that?
I think it's because they don't want people to, off themselves.
Well, yeah, I think that the religion aspect is a big one.
Yeah.
If for some reason, they believed this would disprove God, that's why they would get these pastors all together, like we've heard them doing, and would tell them that they need to make sure that their flock stays on track, and that basically that they need to get ready for the American people to freak out, or at least some of them, and that they could possibly end themselves over not believing that there's a God anymore because aliens exist. And we all know that the Jews and the Christians, specifically the Jews, have always believed that they were basically the chosen ones and God's only people. So if that's true, or if it comes out that aliens exist and they're not us from the future, that would kind of put a damper on religion in that aspect.
Yeah, and like Omsa said, it's the greatest national security threat, which is 100% true as well.
Well, yeah, because we can't defend ourselves from them.
Right.
But at the same time, if they were to hurt us, don't you think they would have already done it?
Exactly.
So I'm torn between that. Are they really a national security threat, especially if no other country can defend themselves? I mean, they're not coming down here and threatening the lives of American citizens. They're not coming down and threatening the lives of Chinese citizens or Russian citizens. So are they really a threat? I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely don't know. So I mean, if they even could be messing with the Earth core, right? Or just observing, we don't know what they're really doing.
No, we won't know until somebody tells the truth.
Yeah.
Because there's a theory out there that that the national parks treaties were signed by Theodore Roosevelt distinctively because deals were made with possibly the Greys, that they were allowed to abduct a certain amount of people, but it could only happen in the national parks. And that theory is because, the missing 411 cases, the people that never show up again, the things like that, there's no truth behind it, at least none that can be found, but it's a theory.
Yeah.
And the theory would also go that they would trade technology for humans, and that they needed the humans because specifically the Greys were sterile and could not have children anymore.
And also, there was another that, but also they were also basically studying humans on how they function, because, and I quote, like that alien said in that interview, they lost all their information from the past.
Which, by the way, Grok said that was a college experiment. Grok says that specific video is a college experiment. It was done by college kids, which I don't know if I believe that, but that's what they say that video is. Congrats to the college kids that made that, though. That's freaking amazing. It looks real as shit.
Right. Even if it is or not, who knows? But I 100% believe it's real.
Then we got this over here. Trump UFO file releases sparks a new disclosure frenzy as Corbell, Goresh, and Coulthard weigh in. This week, the Cosmic Report rounds up some expert opinions on what they thought President Donald Trump's UFO file release would amount to just days before the drop. As another action-packed week draws to a close, Chatter and Disclosure Day is going full throttle. Heavyweight space podcaster Jeremy Corbell announced on May 8th that the White House had briefed him along with fellow weaponized host George Knapp that the disclosure process would begin on the weekend, and we got it on Friday instead. For anyone not off with what's been happening, President Trump has said on numerous occasions that he would disclose decades worth of buried Pentagon UFO evidence despite what his predecessors say. And when the time actually came for the files to be released, it felt surreal. However, it's interesting to see what the UFO experts had on their minds shortly after the big drop happened. What could possibly happen next? Corbell seemed to think that it will be slow and steady at first and with nothing shocking initially. In his post on X, Corbell pointed to the administration's positive noises about releasing something interesting and said that the data sets on offer will hopefully convince more people to support the cause he champions. Jeremy Corbell, just now, sources in the White House as well as congressional members tell me that George Knapp, the presidential UFO file release, will begin tomorrow. We are told that it'll be slow at first, nothing shocking initially. Let's see where this goes.
I've been holding a secret for about 11 years.
Did you see something? Do you have something?
Right. There was a reason why I chose to believe you.
The first 10 years that I was doing this, I'm going through the same stuff that you're going through now. Bouncing off the walls, up and down, peaks and valleys, scared shitless, worried about what comes next.
Corbell is an investigative journalist who helped obtain and release the DoD footage of UFOs.
I'm afraid he's going to die. I mean, there is a hit out on him.
It's not a video of an alien. It's not a video of one craft. It's more than that.
Years ago, I went searching for the truth about UFOs, and I found it. To really understand the full picture, I'm going to start where it all began.
They have between 30 and 50 alien bodies.
Captain Edgar Mitchell was the sixth person to ever walk on the moon.
The evidence is very strong. They've been here and are here.
It's an Alice in Wonderland planet. Very few people will ever find the truth.
The world I lived in, the position of trust, I had it at the highest levels. Being briefed into all the national secrets.
They're not going to come after you, not only you, they're going to come after your family.
If I died, the story comes out.
It is so alarming to me what has happened to some of the whistleblowers.
When things are going really bad, and there's been periods of real bad, ups and downs. Is that the best you got?
Yeah.
Bring it.
So that's Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp's, I guess, documentary. That'll be interesting to watch when it comes out. I love George Knapp. I used to listen to him all the time.
Oh, you know that one alien show that's on Tubi?
No.
It's where that guy will talk about the different alien stuff.
I don't know.
In this video. Not the older guy, but the guy with the beard.
That's Jeremy Corbell.
Yeah, Jeremy Corbell, his show. I watch a lot of his stuff on Tubi, and there's a lot that explains a lot with the alien stuff, and it's very interesting.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen it.
It's really good.
All right, let's check out this. What is this? The U.S. government releases shocking UFO files detailing encounters across America.
Trump administration has released a massive collection of declassified UFO and UAP files, describing alleged extraterrestrial encounters and unexplained aerial phenomena observed by government personnel across the United States. The release is part of a new transparency initiative called the PURSUE Program, short for Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Encounters. Officials say the database includes mission reports, photographs, videos, witness testimony, and intelligence documents tied to unresolved UFO investigations spanning decades. According to the White House, the files are now publicly accessible with no clearance required, marking what officials describe as one of the largest disclosures of unexplained aerial incidents in U.S. history. Among the most startling cases is a 2023 report involving 7 separate federal officers who indefinitely described seeing strange glowing objects across Western America over a 2-day period. Witnesses reportedly observed orbs, launching other orbs, a massive stationary glowing sphere, and a transparent object described as a resembling a translucent kite. Special agents also reported orange-colored orbs repeatedly releasing smaller red orbs before fading in and out of view. Officials say the release required coordination across dozens of agencies and the review of millions of classified records, many dating back decades and existing only at paper archives. The government emphasized that all materials released involved unresolved cases, meaning investigators could not determine the true nature or the origin of this phenomenon.
So I've seen these videos floating around on TikTok, obviously, and other platforms. I don't think those videos are necessarily real. I don't know. Some of them look really good, and other ones look like AI slop bullshit. So it's very hard to tell what's real and what's not real right now with this AI shit. But I can definitely tell you if any video was released like that, it would be on the front of every news outlet you could possibly think of. Now, a lot of people are talking about how we have a galactic federation that watches over the interplanetary systems. And supposedly these are that galactic federation. But that's pretty crazy. We have watched some of the videos in the files. There's not a lot of them, and they're all grainy. Until the better ones are released. And most of those files, by the way, Elmsta, most of those files I had already seen. They're all public already. Most of those files were almost all public. So, as insane as that is, I mean, Tom DeLonge released half of that shit like 2 years ago, if not 3 years ago now. American people just didn't trust it, so we didn't believe it. And now the FBI released it personally, so now it's true. The AI slop going around, though, is absolutely... Some of it's horrible, and some of it is so good that I don't know if it is AI or not, which bothers me.
Yeah.
There's no hostility from another species because there's a higher governing species, or is it just the fact that there is no hostility whatsoever? How can we be sure of that? First question.
Everybody who I know who has dealt directly with those beings have told me our own experience, and that is they are completely non-hostile. They have been portrayed as such because how do you unite the world around a military response? You create a false alien threat. This is what Werner von Braun warned about, and we are very much at that point, unfortunately. So I think that calmer minds need to prevail, but there is no evidence they are hostile. Now, let me make one other point. As I said one time to a general, I won't say who it is, because if they were hostile, and given the galactically foolish things we have done, targeting them, striking them, now these systems that are faster than the speed of light, moving out into space, the technologies they have in a fraction of a second could shut down all those systems and everything else. They have not. Why have they not done that? Because they are essentially very peaceful, highly organized, socially evolved psychologically and emotionally evolved civilizations. One other point, common sense. If you possess those sort of weapons and you're still of the consciousness of violence, you're going to blow yourself up or some nearby planet with you, because we're not talking about, let's forget science fiction. You're not talking about boom, boom with a laser beam, right? Or a kinetic missile, or even a thermonuclear missile. You're talking being able to affect the fabric of space-time. And then if those technologies are weaponized, it's over in a fraction of a second. So the proof, I said to one senior military guy, that they are not hostile is that you and I are still breathing the free air of Earth. If you know what we've been doing, it's quite clear that this is actually proof that they're not hostile. If you understand what those technologies are, and if you understand what covert illegal projects have been doing.
Here's a question. If there's not any, intervention by the aliens or the people, there is this power and there's people in control. If we don't fix this ourselves, is there going to be any kind of intervention from up there if we continue to destroy the Earth as we are?
Well, that's what I spoke to a moment ago. I think that there are two clocks ticking. One is operations within the constitutional government of the United States that are not going to put up with this any further, more than another 6 to 9 months. The other is the fact that these extraterrestrial civilizations cannot afford for this progression of technology being deployed against them. These have been much of it's been reverse engineered from the ET vehicles, right? And so at a certain point, where do they have to do something to protect other places? Because there's a universal principle of self-defense. So far, we've just been cruising along, getting away with this foolish and childish behavior. But I can't give you a timeline on that. But I think that I honestly, from what I've heard from very senior intelligence sources inside the so-called illegal operations, is that it's thought that it would not be able to go on beyond 2026.
So that's Stephen Greer. I don't really like Stephen Greer, but with these files coming out, I'm more willing to listen to him.
Yeah.
We have officially been on here for an hour, so this is going to wrap up our part 1. We have plenty more videos that are going to be coming on in the next episode. I do want to say though that we will follow up on some of these Brazilian UFO files that have been basically leaked around the same time that our files have. The Brazilian government did the most amazing thing in the entire world, and that was when we said that we were going to declassify, they decided to declassify first. They literally beat us to declassification.
Oh, yeah.
And they have been releasing all different kinds of UFO footage and videos with the stories behind the UFOs, the interviews that took place with the people that saw them, and some of them are military, some of them are just normal civilians. And I think we're going to hit a little bit of that in part 2. We also have so many more videos to go over and look at that it's going to be very, very, very interesting. This is going to be a very good ride, to say the least. And Julie, you got to pay attention. We're on at 12:30, 12:45 every night. You know this, girl. You've been on the show. You were literally a part of the show. But anyways, this is going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. We'll be back on tomorrow night. Until then, also, before we go, as always, crew, as freaking always, brother, what would this be?
This is the Robert and Kershaw Venmo link for if you'd like to, not have to, donate so that way we can get stuff for the podcast or so we can get travel costs for the podcast. Anything and everything for the podcast is only for this Venmo link.
All right. And with that said, guys, we're going to get out of here tonight, but we'll be back on tomorrow at 12:45, Julie. You don't need a notification when you got the time. 12:45 we'll be on. We'll see you next time. Much love from the Robin and Crew Show. Peace.